Hello. Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
Welcome to this 33rd expedition. Sorry, new relevance. The 33rd session of In the Demon's Grasp with our
We're not
group here.
sponsored by them. We don't have to do this.
Nope. We have not been sponsored by the French RPG.
Oh,
When last we left off, the group had talked to a grieving family who were just looking for their boy. They discovered a magical possible link between some of the disappearances and a mark left from a handprint of some type on the father's hand, and had determined that it was conjuration.
Yes,
Question mark?
conjuration.
correct.
Yes.
That is correct.
And then they left the house, told the guard about what was going on, things to be on the lookout for, and then that's where we dropped off. I believe the group was about to report their current findings to Elsbeth,
hmm
and we will go ahead and start there. You all have left the house. It's about 2 o'clock now, having done the talking and dealt with the family and stuff, and reassured them and spoken to the guard. So it's the afternoon now. You are heading back down the street towards the hectic office space of the Couriers Guild. You go inside. Everything is still pretty chaotic here. Pretty much just as it was yesterday when y'all were here before. There are people running around. There's not as many people tripping and falling over things as there were before. So you all are pointed upstairs when you ask where Elsbeth might be. No one tries to stop you as you go up the stairs, and you get there, and beyond this glass door, you see Elsbeth sitting at her desk, furiously writing something on her desk.
Okay. I will knock.
You knock. She looks up for a minute and then throws her hands in the air as if something either just doesn't seem right, or as if she's exasperated, or
She's probably
surprised at
writing an
something.
update for us.
And then she waves you in towards her desk.
Yep.
And I go in. I look at her and I'm like,
Why were you dancing?
you know they have paper, right? You don't have to write on the desk. Hello. No, jokes. Not kidding. No, I'm not doing that.
She looks up at you and says, "Speak of the devils, I was just writing my update to you all."
We haven't
Well,
left
we hate to waste that hard work, but we did find some information that seemed prudent to talk about in person.
Ah,
I'll
see.
nod.
And she pulls out what appears to be a pad with some parchment on it that seems to be bound but is empty, and dabs her quill in her ink there and says, "Okay, what do you want to tell me?"
Side note, out of character, I was hoping Fire was going to say, and she pulls out this weird long knife. Okay, back in character.
Mistral will say, well, we followed up on the leads. We had some of us go to the more well-to-do parts of town and some go to the less well-to-do parts of towns to see what we could find out about disappearances.
Mm-hmm.
We did have some disappearances, or at least one, from the lower end of town that you may or may not have heard about.
She immediately takes note of that and asks, "When was it? Where was it?"
Well,
I will turn the floor over to Cole because this was primarily your investigation.
well, first off, if you hear anything about me kidnapping someone, don't listen to it. It's only
That
half.
was you.
It's only half true.
It's only half the truth. I'm just gonna smack Cole in the arm. You didn't need to bring that up.
It was gonna
Again,
get back to
Cole,
her.
you just got back to town.
But you know me.
To be fair, it was a diversion technique. Still, you didn't need to bring that up.
And
Well,
but for the record, it was just Wendy.
as unorthodox as it was,
She nods her head knowingly.
as unorthodox as it was, yes, it was effective.
understandable, but as
Yeah.
as if that makes it somehow better.
It did allow us to corroborate the information from 2 different sources. So,
Oh, good.
Yes. So we met with the boss of the underdwellers, not underdwellers, of the. What's the word I'm trying to say?
the
Street
urchins.
urchins.
Yeah, of the urchins.
I was
Thank you.
calling them underdwellers sounds
Ne'er-do-wells.
offensive.
Ne'er-do-wells.
Yes,
That's a good one.
the less fortunate.
And
The street rats.
Yes.
apparently a kid by the name of, I'm looking through my notes.
We had
Was it Dell or
Charlie and we had
Charlie. Charlie was the
Doe,
one that
which were
was actually
Charles
bad?
and Dell
Yeah.
were the full names.
Doe is the one who went to a different family, and Charlie's the
No,
one.
Charles is the one who
Other
went to
way
a different
around.
family.
Yeah,
okay.
Charlie's
Mhm.
the one that went to a different
Dell's the
family.
one that's just straight up missing.
A boy named Doe or Dell. It's both. Who's disappeared. One other that probably didn't disappear, but got adopted by a more fortunate family.
Okay. And she's
We've
taking notes.
we've confirmed that there was also some ethereal, whispery type things when he disappeared as well. And that both Dowell and the other boy Nico seem to have an affinity for magic.
And it possibly turned up after the.
blossomed.
Right. Nico's family, as Erilyn was saying, told us that Nico's magic may have manifested after that blue wave came through.
Also,
She flips. Go ahead.
The father of Nico has a handprint on his hand where he was holding his son's hand that
Yeah,
no one can see.
we could see it, but they couldn't. And see, there seems to be remnants of conjuration magic left on his hand.
She flips in this little pamphlet of I'm just gonna start calling it paper because it's easier to say. Back a few pages where there are
Parchment?
notes that are written. Yes. And reads for a moment and says, "There's no mention of a handprint here. What was it? What did it look like?"
A
It was
handprint.
a blue handprint on his hand from where he
And
said Nico was holding it
It was
before he
invisible to the
disappeared.
naked eye.
Firedale,
but,
can I conjure an illusory image of the handprint with that
You certainly
coloration?
can. You certainly can.
Okay. And I'll do
Is that
that.
what? Okay, you conjure it. She looks at it for a
yeah,
minute.
like that.
She draws a few circles, underlines some things on the page she was looking at, and then does her best to make what appears to be the handprint, and then writes blue and unseeable on the page, and then flips back to the notes she was taking with you all.
Did
Carvin says his hand still feels cold.
Did we make
Oh, I also ended up. No, I outlined it. I actually ended up outlining it so he could see where it was on his hand, and it seemed to make him feel a little bit more comfort knowing it's there.
I have a feeling he's not going to be washing that hand for a while.
I don't think so.
Well, that's insanity.
And I have a little bit of information for you all as well.
Oh.
It appears that my courier that was down in Farrington ran into a bit of bad luck betting on a little game and had his belongings removed from his person and they were being stored. We just got word today, so that is where my stone is, and that's been taken care of. Still haven't heard it from anything at the courier who was on his way to Kashi.
Okay.
Wonderful.
The
Out of
stone?
character, should we mention the
stone.
one more
Mm.
life to the ring fulfilled to Elspeth?
I would prefer not to yet until we have a little bit more to corroborate that.
Okay.
I will ask
Uh,
if I remember enough information from what I had written down with the fog and everything, because we've talked about the fog with her.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
And I did review my notes for what I would have possibly transcribed from the journal to bring with me. I will ask if she's familiar with something called the Velcor stone.
She shakes her head and says, "That's not something that I recognize." No.
Okay.
Could we at least mention that the whispers, we were able to identify that it's infernal?
Yes.
Okay.
Infernal and a ritualistic chant. That's fine.
But don't say the
She
actual words.
looks a
Got it.
bit alarmed at that, as any time that you start talking about demons, devils, and the like, in normal company, that's normally what really causes red flags to go up, especially when people have been disappearing and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So she looks alarmed and says, "Do you think there's a cult that is doing this, or do you think it's something demonic or devilish? Do you have any information about what it might link to or what it might be for?"
I think
We're
it's
not
too
entirely
soon
certain.
to tell.
We're still working on conjecture at this point. We're trying to get a little bit more information so that we actually have something concrete to
I
share.
do think
Do you know
it
what
might
it
be
said?
tied.
Well,
I
at
do
this
think it
point,
might
since
be
she's asking, yes, we'll say what it said.
Yeah.
I was gonna say I do think it could be tied to
Mm-hmm.
the blue wave, since it seems their powers have come up since.
That's
So
purely
Above
speculation, though.
Above board, Mistral is not mentioning the dreams. Specifically, that
No.
is not being
Right.
mentioned.
Yep, you're just
That is
mentioning
No.
what
what
she
was
is avoiding
translated.
mention of. And if you start
No, it's
mentioning
not.
that, she will stop you. But anything else.
No, that's not what I was going for. I was gonna say that it seems so far like the the boys getting their magic is tied to the blue wave,
Mm-hmm.
and it might be prudent to keep
an eye
watch
out for any
over
new instances of magical
kiddos.
ability.
Yes,
Since
is
then,
where I was
yes.
trying to go.
Yes.
But to answer her question, from what we could tell, it said the whispers say, "One more life, the ring fulfill."
One more life to the ring fulfilled, yes.
Do you have any clue what this ring might be?
Not yet.
I assume a ring. But
Thank you, Cole. That was obvious.
Yeah, she tilts her head and looks at Cole and gives you the look of what Erlen just said.
in case you haven't noticed, Cole can be a bit literal.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
I think our next goal is to head back to the tower and
Yes.
do some digging, and then head out to the next town to do more investigations.
okay. Good luck. Please make sure and check on my notes. Obviously, today's isn't going to help you very much since apparently, in person is much easier to do than reading
Well,
and writing.
well, and I definitely wanted to check in with you before we headed back to the tower to make sure. Like, if there was anything that needed to be conveyed urgently. You're familiar with my method of transportation.
Yes. Can't think of anything as of now. You actually have more information than we've been able to get from my notes before and what the reports said. This handprint on the father's hand wasn't something that anybody else saw.
None
Yeah,
of
he
your
mentioned
couriers
that.
could benefit from hitching a ride to the tower?
No, all of them are currently out
Okay.
trying to deliver in other places.
I was just trying to make sure nothing needed to get to Stormvale that could have been sped up.
Nope.
Also,
We
Elspeth, as a heads up, we've alerted the guard that was stationed outside of Nico's house about
mhm.
the
To be on the
possible
watch
tie
out
to
for
magic.
children with magical abilities, yeah.
Okay, I'm sure the guard captain will help take care of that. That's definitely something to take note of, and I really appreciate it as she finishes up her note on her little parchment binder there. Is there anything else I can help you with? Anything else that I can offer that I might be of assistance? Because this seems a lot more dire than it did before. If there's demonic forces at play here.
Well,
Yeah, we definitely
what
need to get to the
leads
bottom of it.
Yeah, what leads we do have, I believe the artifact that you've lent us will help because I had found some notes that might be able to shed some light, but they were damaged. So what you've already lent us will certainly be of aid in that.
No,
Um,
that's very good and a very good use of that. I've used it many times to recover things that have been lost in transit.
And while we're at the tower, we'll look into a sending stone to see if we can get one to you for easier communication.
yeah,
Okay.
with us. We should have at least one pair at our disposal back at the tower.
Okay. That would be useful.
I wonder if it would be useful to bring a courier with us to bring it back with him.
Unfortunately, right now, all my couriers are out currently couriering,
Okay.
delivering packages and letters.
Will, you had
And
said that you had a courier that had lost their belongings in Fairhampton, yes?
Correct.
Are they still out that way, or have they managed to make it back?
I don't think she
Uh,
knows.
yeah, he got back earlier today, barely with the
Okay.
clothes still on his back, and explained the situation. So we're going to have to make some payments and arrangements to get at least the stone back and whatever packages she looks a little bit irritated he still had at the time.
Okay.
He is no longer employed here, but the belongings still need to be handled and dealt with.
Because they're property of the Couriers Guild.
And the people they were being delivered to.
Yep.
Okay, so I'm just trying to refresh my memory here. The other disappearances were Farrington, which were two. There were a brother and a sister. Sutton, there was a girl. And then
Brother,
we also
sister, and
had
Farrington,
Oakvale. We had a
girl
kid
in
that said they were
Sutton,
being followed.
an elf child in Oakville.
Yeah. And the one in Oakvale had sent a message saying they were being followed. Or they thought they were being followed.
Well, then maybe after we stop by the tower, we should stop by Farrington, investigate there, retrieve the packages.
That was my thought, was try to figure out which areas, if any, we wanted to investigate directly from the tower.
And
So
then,
I
at
would agree
least
with
for a
that.
time being, we have a working sending stone to Elsbeth.
I'd have to get it back though.
Well, I can use my method of transport twice per day,
Okay.
so long as I have the materials to do so.
Well, then
Excuse me.
let's teleport to the tower and then to Farrington before nightfall.
Well, I don't have a path to Farrington directly.
Oh,
We'd have to travel.
darn.
Yes, we will have to travel. The tower is the closest point
Well,
that I have to Farrington.
we're still closer from the tower than from Novale, so
Yes.
Definitely. Well, it sounds like y'all have a plan, and again, I'm so sorry to shove all of this on your shoulders, but if there's anything
that's what
else
we're
that
here for.
I can personally help with, please do let me know.
Will do.
So if
All right.
there's nothing else, then you can finish your discussion with her. There is
Yeah.
a spot downstairs where you can draw a circle.
And
You
teleport
may
out.
have to ask some people to
To clear the path, yeah.
Yeah, just a
Clear
little bit.
space. It's a 10-foot circle, so yeah.
So is that the plan?
I think so.
Yes, but I would ask really quickly, just before we left Elsbeth, if she is aware of any places in Fairhampton or Coveton that may have a circle that I could acquire when I was there to make it easier to go back later.
I believe, if I remember right, all of the major towns around here have at least one circle. Some may
Yes.
have more than one that are used for private conveyance and the like, but I do believe just about every place at a main central building of some type would have a circle for you.
Right, I was more poking for what kind of building is it in. So main central building is enough of a hint. That's fine. We can work with that.
Yeah, usually it's either well known to the people there, so you can ask and
Anyone.
they'll be able to show you, or it will be clearly marked with signage or the like.
Yep, and then I just need to keep an eye out for more rare chalks and inks so that I can continually replenish my supplies for circles.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
didn't we want to visit like Sutton to shop or something?
Was it Sutton specifically?
Because I thought Novale didn't
They
have like
have more magical
shops,
things
but
there,
Sutton
yeah.
Yeah,
did.
Novell is more of the place that all of the shipments come in and out as the main point.
Mhm.
Sutton is much more of the economic area, as in that's where more of the major shops and things like that would be.
And
There was one
The magic
disappearance
shops
in
and
there as
stuff like that.
well. But I
Yep.
think we want to do tower first.
Outside
Because-
of characters, so Elsbeth doesn't hear this. Wasn't there also the something that we were talking while we were in Stormvale mentioning Fairhampton with the giant spine and leads to things? About the dwarves?
It's not familiar to me.
No.
There was something about the legends of the area.
Was
that we
that
were
with
going
That
the
was-
youngins?
That was more the for the initial cave where the relic was found, where the journal came from.
Oh, yeah,
That was what that was about.
with the location of where it was supposed to be at the end of the spine and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. Okay.
But we ended up finding the
Well, I
area.
mean, there are
Okay.
multiple ends to the spine, and we did in fact find something off the coast
We found
on our
one.
side. So yeah,
Still worth
Okay.
looking into while we're there.
of course, yeah, absolutely. I'm just thinking, we definitely want to do tower first.
Right.
Yes.
Do
If
you
we
have
want
a
to
warp
transport
Sutton?
somewhere else after the, yes, I have a warp to Sutton.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
to
have
Sutton, okay.
circles above board. Y'all would know this. I have circles in the tower. I have circle in Sutton. I have one here in Novale. I have one in Stryton. I have one in Cashy. I have one in Mainston, and I have one in Oakvale. So they mentioned
Okay.
that their courier in Cashy hasn't checked in. We could go there directly as well. So we have options.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So
Um,
out of
anything
the
else
places where people have vanished, I can get immediately to 3 of them.
Okay. Well, then it might be worth going to the tower, then going to Sutton first tonight, like same day.
Mm-hmm. We can do that.
That way we could try and get any shopping for magical items out of the way and
Yeah, if I'm
investigate
going to
the
be
one
using
disappearance
2
there.
circles worth of materials, I'll definitely need to restock after that. So
Yeah. So I say Sutton first, then Fairhampton.
I currently have 12 uses worth of materials.
Something for you to remember. Remember that the scale of this map is considerably smaller than it's supposed to be just because
Mhm.
of the amount of movement and stuff.
Mhm.
Another option, while it does look like it's further away, within a day you can get to Sutton from Novell by boat or ship. So if you end up
Right.
wanting to save that or save one of those, you can get the trip there.
Or we
But
can
it would
go
take
from.
the rest of the
Su-
day pretty much.
We could go to Sutton right after
So we
hit
could go to.
Noville.
Well, depending on the time of day it is now, we could go to Sutton now
It's like 2 o'clock.
and then teleport home.
It's like between
Um,
2 and 3.
Do we want to do that?
I just don't know because if we want to follow up on the investigation in Sutton, that may take more time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think we need to go to the tower
So
first.
I think tower first, no matter
And
what.
it would definitely be dark by the time you got there.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, let's go tower first, then Sutton.
Okay.
Yep.
We can
makes
always leave
sense.
first thing in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
Well, because also if we're going to Farrington, it doesn't make sense for us to teleport it back away from the tower and then you have to go back.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just, you know.
All good. Okay, so you prepare your circle to head back to the tower.
Also, I want to add, as I'm leaving Elsbeth's office, I'll let her know if there's any emergency info that we need to get to her. I'll message.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I'll keep
you've
it
obtained
handy.
sending capabilities.
Yeah. Oh,
Okay.
sorry. I'll sending her, but only in emergency cases.
Alrighty.
If it's like
So
super dire.
you all prepare your preparances. Give me just a moment. I'm having to make some adjustments here. You take your time to set up the circle and you zip back to the tower.
Does anybody remember where we sent Wade? Was he meeting
Back
us?
to Stormvale.
Okay, I wasn't
I
sure where.
think.
I wasn't exactly sure where we sent him.
I think it's
You
back to
are here.
Stormvale.
Okay, I was just trying to remember. I wasn't sure if he was coming to meet us in Novale or something.
You mentioned where you were going, but you did not say to meet you there, if I remember right, because
Okay,
that was
I
something
excellent.
that
think
I
we
asked
just
about.
dismissed him.
That's what I want. Okay, good. I didn't want him to meet us there, so.
I'm
That
gonna
works.
immediately go look for Iris and give her a cuddle.
I'm going to beeline for my library for that journal.
Oh yeah. I also
I'm-
have pet. I should go make sure my pet's okay.
And then I'm
I'm
sure
good.
at least one other person is beelining towards the storage room.
Just in case we want
I
to
am-
get back on the map here.
checking in with my
Storage room,
Shrubs.
please.
shrub Ivy.
Yeah, I would check somebody check in with Ivy, check at the dial at the base of the altar.
Okay.
I know it's been a while.
So we are back. Welcome home, people.
I run in and go grab Iris.
Does Ivy run up to us?
Well, Ivy was told to specifically watch one thing there for a while. So
Yeah, and
Ivy
let
is
us know if
still
anything happened. Yep.
standing
Ivy,
right there.
report.
Ivy shakes and shivers and points with a limb, and it still says, I believe, 7, which is what it said before you all left.
Yep, it is indeed. Okay, so it hasn't changed.
Erilyn, your bun bun is happy to see you. Adeline,
Blink dog.
Emerald is happy to see you.
I had a blinky dog.
Erilyn, where is your bun bun? There should be a bun bun on the map.
Yeah, I don't know why you don't have her on the map.
She was on the map last time. We were here.
Yeah, she was, but I don't know why she isn't there now.
Maybe roll 20 just ate the token. Or maybe
I
she's
think
under
so.
the map. Are you sure she's not under the map?
Pretty sure.
I'm going to cast Speak with Plants
Uh-huh.
using my staff.
Okay. You can now speak with plants.
And now I will requests a report from Ivy.
Ivy gives you the report that nothing has changed. It's been quite wet, as is expected. The sun hasn't been doing too well. Very cloudy yesterday. The soil has been a little bit damp. The shrubs out chopping wood were having some trouble letting it dry. So if you were brought in, they've now been stacked back outside. And continues on with a pretty mundane bit of information.
Perfect.
I forget how you zoom in on tokens.
On tokens?
If you even can.
I thought it was Alt.
Yeah, it's not doing anything when I do it, so.
Weird.
Did anyone
So
find
I would
the
end
bun?
up.
The what?
No.
Well, because I'm wondering what this is, and I'm wondering
Wanna
what
just add
this
her
is.
back? Want to just add her back to the map then?
I don't think he has her token on his computer.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, my ping settings are all messed up too. I can't ping unless I double ping.
Huh. That was a green light.
Okay.
And this is your cleansing stone.
Okay.
That you all have set up in front of your
The permanent,
house.
the pedestal one. Yeah.
Yes.
Not the portable one in my pocket. Or in my bag of holding, as it were.
Correct,
Firebutt?
correct. Yes.
Can I have an iris?
I'm working on it.
Okay.
It may just take me a minute.
There were things that had to be asked. Sorry.
It's all good.
I was trying to make sure none of the tokens that I couldn't identify were.
What is this thing that I don't recognize?
Right. I'm like, is this the bun? No.
Iris controlled by banana. There.
There we go.
Hello, my little chickens.
So where's the
I thought
storage
he
room?
was calling the bunny a chicken.
The storage room is where this shrub is, off by the kitchen area.
Storage room is here.
Yeah.
What did we need in the storage room?
Sending stones primarily.
Yeah, I was gonna.
And
go
any
ahead
other magical items that we may have had that would have been in storage that y'all needed.
Yep.
That was the stuff that Firedale said we could spend for to say that we had.
Yeah. The material components.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, anything that you have now
spell
discovered
components.
after playing that you really should have started with.
Mm-hmm.
It was actually in storage here. You just need to make sure and
You
make
spend
payments.
the gold cost. Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
Very mundane magical things like the sending stones. Go ahead and get for 1,000. Anything that is uncommon, rare, something like that, talk with me first. But anything mundane, any spell components that have a material cost that you want to up now.
Yeah, I would have mentioned, other than the sending stones, which Erilyn brought up multiple times, so you'll probably know that we need to get those today. I would have also mentioned that I was looking for like blank books, parchment, stuff like that.
Questions. There's 3 different sending stones.
There's.
Oh, they're sending stones, and legacy, so it's stones.
Yeah,
right.
That I'm looking
they
for.
are paired.
Yeah, they're paired stones.
But no, it says sending stone, sending stones, legacy, and sending stones wondrous item.
Right. The sending stone is from Acquisitions Incorporated. It's not the same thing.
Okay.
That's not from our campaign. That's something else.
I'm gonna grab the sending stones.
Yeah, you need to do the plural. Mm-hmm.
Trying to remember what
you said. 1,000 gold.
Yeah.
1,000 for the pair.
Okay.
I need the component.
So I've got the sending stones covered, so nobody has to take care of that.
Okay. Does anyone remember what the spell was that I needed the component for? It was something with talking to a god.
Commune?
Is it commune? Okay.
Was it?
Trying to find it in my list.
I'll also start digging out
You
paper
contact
and
your deity or
parchment.
divine
Commune.
proxy, ask up to 3 questions.
It wasn't commune because I don't have that.
Okay. Trying to think what else there
I think it was
was.
a 4th level spell. Divination.
Ah, okay.
But divination, I think. Which takes.
All this stuff to catch up on.
Oh yeah, that's the incense worth 25 gold. Okay.
Yep.
Which would
Okay.
be here.
Yeah.
I would
Yes,
certainly
one
have that.
specific goal, event, or activity to occur within 7 days.
Yeah.
And I offer a truthful reply,
Yes.
which might be a short phrase or a cryptic rhyme.
Apologies for my sneezing.
I have that
So
in
would
my
it be-
bag already. Okay.
So while I'm in here, would you like me to start pulling out like blank books or parchment?
Yes. Those are mundane, and I would almost certainly have them.
Yeah, those wouldn't even be a cost. They're not magical.
Yep.
Anyone
Just
want a
empty
snack?
pages is definitely something that Mistral would have.
Mm-hmm.
And an ink pot or two.
Yeah.
Cole goes to make breakfast now that everybody's there in the afternoon.
You just hear a knife.
You never had breakfast in the afternoon?
Hey, brunch
It's
is
called
great.
brunch.
So Mistral,
Yes.
after everybody is done checking on items and anything else that y'all might come to think of now, again, if it's something that really is special, we can talk a bit afterwards. But for now, if everybody is ready, we can continue. Is anyone not ready?
Yeah, I
I'm
likely
ready.
won't have any idea of what other items I need until later, so that can hold off.
I bring
Okay,
out
I
a
can't
tray
wait.
of small tarts.
Cole brings out a tray of small tarts.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Are they small enough to pop in your mouth? Maybe they can be called, Pop Tarts.
It might take more than just one bite, but yes.
So yeah, I'll bring a stack of blank books, paper, and parchment up to the meditation room. Wait for Mistral. Cuddle Iris.
Yeah,
I
Mistral has
want story
immediately
time.
just started looking for the journal, looking for the researcher's log.
And
where
you
she
don't
would have
usually
placed
like people in your library, correct?
it. As long as you're not like getting food on the books, it's generally fine.
I'll wait in the
Would you like
meditation
a
room
tart,
for now.
Mistral?
Not in here, please.
Oh, alright. I'll set
Call
it
it
out
up in
on
the
the
meditation
table.
room.
I'll set it out on the table
Filthy.
for you. There.
Okay, so you find the book as you thought it was pretty relevant before, so I can't imagine that Mishra would have put it somewhere to make it hard to get to at this point.
Right, I would have made sure I knew where I put it.
Do
Pull up my archivist notes.
Alrighty. So, which specific spot do you want to do first, or which part of the page?
So I am looking at specifically, we had a couple parts that were completely just unreadable. And I think that was the main thing that I was looking for.
Yep. So, of course, you've got the first bit about the artifact I uncovered.
Mm-hmm.
Blah blah blah. Several pages there.
So where they mentioned the Velcor stone.
Yep. So
We
that's the
discovered
first
it
part.
deep beneath the unreadable. So looking for that section.
Alrighty. So,
If you have my travel compendium open, it is still at the bottom of that.
I wrote any notes on it.
So you lay it upon that page. And I believe hopefully that showed it to everybody. Yeah.
Yep.
So
Yep.
there is the part at the bottom that you have figured out or it displays.
Yes, this was the part I was looking for specifically. Yep. After months of fruitless searching, we finally unearthed the artifact. The locals called it the Velcor Stone, but its true name remained shrouded in forgotten tongues. We discovered it deep beneath the waves to the southwest of the island, in a cavern system known to the ancients as the Mouth of the Truly Damned. That's fun.
I was gonna say, that's a mouthful. That was a mouthful.
The air within the caves was thick with something unnatural. Even the torches burned lower than they should. At first, I thought it was merely the weight of centuries pressing down on us. When we reached the final chamber, after seeing what lay before me, the presence was undeniable. The stone rested upon an altar flanked by long dead sentinels, their forms turned to dust. It was as though time itself had abandoned this place. Strange markings covered the walls, most of which I cannot decipher, though I recognized some symbols tied to containment rituals. It was clear that the artifact had been left here not to be used, but to be hidden.
Ooh.
So that is the first page that got copied into the archivist notebook, which will then need to be transcribed onto real paper because it goes away in 24
Yep.
I'll transcribe it while she's reading it out.
Okay.
Well, she's not with us right now.
Well,
So,
he came to give me a tart, so he's here.
So I'm going to assume that you are then going to go to the next section that still had bits unreadable.
Yes.
Alrighty. You lay the page over this, fully expecting a much more cleaner work of some of the stuff that wasn't quite, what's the word? I suddenly had a brain toot. Fully expecting it to
Legible?
be much more readable and legible. But upon laying the page over it, instead of just finding something that is completely illegible, you instead find a page that has bits that you can still read, but the entire page has been rubbed over with what appears to be a very dull brown red colored ink. And hopefully this will update and show the rest now. And at the bottom of the spots that are scribbled over, you can see written in very haphazard handwriting, "This isn't true."
Oh. Okay. Yeah, I have seen it. The fog is not a passive force. It feeds, its hunger will grow, and it will seek to claim more than just the island. Fear I am too late. Whoever reads this, beware of the shadow behind the mist. It seeks not just to imprison, but to consume. And that's scribbled over.
Yeah. All of that bit is scribbled
Yeah.
over, and then "this isn't true" just written in that same
Written in
red
essentially the
brownish coloring.
margins, yeah.
I mean, right on the page.
Yeah. So there's that section. But then there's also the next section which had unreadable on it, which we'll do after this. Some of that's in here.
Oh, yeah. Did I paste? Yeah, I pasted in both parts, didn't I?
Well, we were gonna do both anyway, so it's fine.
Yep.
Okay.
I was gonna do 3 pages worth, so that's 3 pages worth, essentially. I'm assuming anyway, based on how much covered from the first page. Let's see.
Yeah,
The
4
ancient rites speak of a
paragraphs.
way
Yeah.
to break the fog's hold, though the price may be steep. The blood of the chosen one, descendant of the first, must be spilled to weaken the veil. But who could this be? I will leave this to those who came after me. Scribbled over, this isn't true. And then, though much of the ritual remains beyond my understanding, I've uncovered fragments that suggest the fog's binding can be undone, though the process would be dangerous, to say the least. According to the text, the fog was meant to be permanent unless certain conditions were met. To traverse the fog, one must replicate the original summoning ritual, but in reverse. The primary focus seems to be a convergence of some kind of life energies. Drawn from the island itself, a bloodline appears central to the process, though it is not clear whether the blood must be willingly given, and then scribbled over, "This isn't true."
Yep.
Okay.
So we still need to figure out the ritual itself.
Well, and then the last part of it that is not in there right now is the ancient rite speaks of the chosen's heart as a necessary component. Whether this refers to an actual person, artifact, or some metaphorical power is unclear. That part's not
Yes.
in there.
Do you want to check that part?
How many pages do you have left in the archive?
I can only do 4 because we have to leave the 5th free for Elspeth.
You've only done 3.
Yes, so if I did this one, this would be the last one I could do right now.
For today.
Yes.
Right.
I mean, it's probably worth it.
Let me make sure there's not another part that I'd want to do. But I think that's probably the only other part that I have that says unreadable, so probably would go ahead and do that part.
Alrighty. So if you would please give me an intelligence check.
Oh, okay. Am I allowed to use the Eyes of Minute Seeing here?
You are.
Okay.
Having seen this whole scribbled over bit on several of the sections.
Is this straight intelligence or is this investigation? Because that does matter.
Go ahead and do investigation.
Okay, because if it's investigation, the Eyes of Minute Seeing give me advantage.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
No assistance outside of that, though, since you're the one looking at the book.
Yep. 24, nat 20.
20.
Alrighty, so looking through the book, you've started to notice what signs to look for as far as this little bit of adjustment that has happened and all of that, to see where maybe a page was made to look like a page but then would have been scribbled over. So you do have the other section that you have seen, that lets off that attempt to weaken the fog and how to perform, and then that part is unreadable. But looking further through the book, on the very last page of the book, you can make out something that like scratches on the page as if something used to be written there, but nothing is visible now. So you have a choice.
I'm going to try it on the scratches.
Yeah.
Okay, you want to try it on the last one?
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty.
Try it on the part where it looks like something was there.
One moment. Now, I apologize for the writing. I figured it was safer to do this than to make it a nice little image again. So let's try this. You reveal the final page. And you see writing that starts out rather nice, just as the rest of the book before the parts that started to say this isn't true.
This is going wonky.
Yeah. Having looked at the book, you can tell that there was a shift in the handwriting slightly as it started to get to that point from what the book was written with at the start. This page, as the writing is going, it starts out pretty semi-normal. The little slash slash there is italicized in the book. I didn't think to do that while I was copy pasting here. But you do notice that the writing as the page goes on gets a little bit quicker or sloppy.
More chaotic?
Yes. And so that is what you see on the last page.
Okay, so I am noticing the oddities in the spacing. I'm assuming those are all intentional.
Yeah, the
I
would
oddity
believe
would
so.
be where it's starting to get chaotic to where handwriting wise, if you're writing something and then instead of starting the next letter, you just kind of wiggle the pen a little bit. And so the letters are connected with a wide space or something like that.
Alright, so I'll read this out. My dearest Illyra, if you are reading this, then I trust you have found the tome and the fog has not yet taken you. Lathander willing, my letter found you with these same words. What lies within the pages is of utmost importance. Follow the steps carefully. The ritual is described in full with precise detail. Each line was painstakingly considered. You must not deviate. There is power in precision. The island itself breathes beneath the ritual's weight, and its silence is sacred. Be mindful of illusions, especially those that move amongst men and whisper like kin. You must understand the deeper truth. Not all cages are forged of steel and spell. Some are wrapped in rites and hidden behind promise of salvation. When the text speaks of destruction, think instead of release. When it warns of catastrophe, ask yourself, for whom? You've always been clever, always seen the threads others overlook. Trust the fog only as far as it hides, not as far as it spreads. The answer is not in what you are told to stop, but in what you are told to begin. Forgive my riddles. I am not myself of late. My hand moves strangely, and the ink stains like blood. But know this, what seems an ending may be a binding. What seems a salvation may be a dagger. I believe in you, even if I no longer believe in what I've become. I'll have your apprentice too.
The last part is in an obviously changed handwriting.
Yeah.
He's been taken
Yep.
over.
Uh-oh.
Yep.
Okay, so my first question is, who is Illyra?
Yep.
Yeah.
And I have a
And-
feeling
yep.
that Mistral's going to be checking every single page of this journal now for what's hidden.
Yes, and I also still want to make sure I get that last page at some point that I didn't do.
But you
Duly
don't know
noted.
what's
I've even
hidden on
left
the
a
other
little
pages
empty
now.
space there for it.
For it, yep. I'm gonna do that when we can. I just can't do it today. Although, in theory,
She
we
said to
got
always leave one
Elspeth's update
page.
in person today.
Mm-hmm.
Could
She
we
did say
use
to
up that page
always.
today?
Will it make it not work anymore if we use it?
No, it's just we can only use 5 pages total at any one time. And in order for us to save a page for recall, we need to not use it for this. It still resets every day, I believe.
Yep, every 24 hours from the last time that a page was used, it will clear itself.
I would say to leave it for an update just in case she does have an update by the end of the day.
She was writing it
We could
when we
also
interrupted her, but yeah, that's fine.
But we could
But she
also
has something
use
else
it to
important.
update her at the end of the day.
No,
No?
doesn't work that way.
Nope,
It's
not
Yeah.
it's
two-way.
retrieval
One way.
only. It does not
Oh,
send.
right. Right. Okay.
Does not work that way.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, I don't want to leave this I don't want to not have this journal to get that page. So basically this is coming with me if I can't fully transcribe it now. It's coming with me.
I have a feeling you're going to be having us each transcribe pages as you're working on another section.
Maybe.
Put us to work.
I mean, I just put Cole to work apparently, although Cole volunteered. So.
Tart
And I'll
dinner.
probably go back and read Cole's transcription as well and compare it, just to make sure that nothing is overlooked.
I'll wander down then and...
There's little scribbles that look like stick figure chickens in the corners.
But yeah, I was honestly intending to do my own transcription once it was copied in, because I have 24 hours to transcribe it basically before it goes away. So
Is the archivist pages bound together, or can we detach it to
you do not want
each
to
work on a
detach them.
page? Okay.
It is a little binding-like book that you can open the pages up and lay upon. General magic thing, when things are part of a set, if you separate it, it usually stops working.
Yep. Do not
Okay.
want to do that.
So only one of us can transcribe it at a time then.
Well, I mean, Cole was going from what I was reading aloud.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So, and I would be working off of the paper.
Yeah.
All right. Is there
So
anything
all is
else
good.
we're wanting here, or should we move on?
So looking through the book, doing the transcribing and everything else has taken you maybe 2.5 to 3 hours.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the start of the evening.
I will eat my now cold tart once I'm done with that.
It's pretty delicious.
I have prestidigitation. I can warm it up. It's fine.
I was gonna say, do I have the one that can warm things up, or do you?
It's prestidigitation. I can do that. I can warm it up.
I think Druidcraft works too.
Very possibly.
Everybody got their stuff figured out as far as what you might need at the moment to take with
Yeah,
you?
I don't think I would have had any more of the inks and chalks here. I think those would have all been on my person. So I think I would need to go and acquire more elsewhere.
I'll bring in the stack of books and
But I'll have the
parchment
books, and this is what the books were for
ink.
mostly, was this transcription.
Uh-huh.
And then anything else that we find along our way that we need to write.
Where is it? Ellie, are you still here?
Yeah,
Are
just
you able to
sneezing my
talk?
ass off, so I keep muting.
Okay.
That
Adeline.
sounded like squeezing your butt off.
Pff,
I'm like, what?
I took my allergy meds. I don't know why I'm sneezing.
You're
Adeline,
allergic to us.
No, that's illegal.
outside your window, you hear a bird chirping and tweeting that sounds rather musical and lyrical. It's not a normal bird tweeting sound, but you recognize it as something related to your school of thought, so to speak.
Hang on, let me get my character sheet up.
Did a coded missive?
Can I do a check of some sorts? I don't even know what check to do. Arcana?
Well, are you trying to identify the tweeting, or are you wanting to look at the bird?
Identify the message.
The tweeting?
Yeah.
Okay. Just give me a performance check.
Performance.
You should be good at that.
Say so.
25.
Plus 12.
Okay. Humming it and listening to it, you recognize it as a coded message meant for people of the school of shadows here for bards. Looking out, you see this bird that is chirping, and you can make it out. It's rather visible where it is. It's not attempting to hide on you on the outside of your windowsill, and it seems to have something tied to its leg.
She'll open her window and
It's a messenger pigeon.
all that keeps coming to my head is the bird from Shrek.
The one that explodes.
Yeah. I don't know why that one specifically,
Well,
but
I
that one
mean,
keeps coming to
when
my
you're
head.
dealing with very covert operations, and the message, after you read this message, it will explode type deal. Uh, it's very possible.
Not my
That
brain's thinking 2
seems
steps ahead of myself.
that seems counterproductive for message transportations, though.
You'd go through a
Every
whole lot
time the
of
bird explodes,
birds, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Also very messy.
Yeah, that's what I say. Banana got a point.
So you have this messenger bird, appears to be a sparrow of some type, outside your window that has something tied to its foot, to its leg.
I'm gonna open the. Wait, hang on. I gotta sneeze again. Okay.
Enough sneezing. Back to work.
I
Wish.
wish, man. I wish it was that easy.
So, Firedale,
Yes.
I have a question about an item that may or may not be in my storage room.
Okay.
Would a wind fan be acceptable to be in my storage room?
Wind fan. Is that like an
It
actual
is
fan?
a fan that when you're holding it, you can cast gust of wind from it once per day.
Oh, cool.
Or-
Roll a D100 for me.
So, well, it's more than once per day, but it has a chance of breaking and falling apart if you use it more than once per day.
A wind fan
D100?
for a storm genasi.
Well, because then I don't have to spend a spell slot on gust of wind.
That seems very based on you.
Yes, you have one.
Okay.
Do me a favor and roll a D2.
Okay.
It's a D2 for.
Can she find it?
Oh.
Yep, you have one.
Oh,
Okay.
she has one.
But it's the number of them that I have.
Oh.
Yeah, you used to have two, but one of them broke.
Yep.
Womp.
That tracks.
Okay, did one of them break, or did someone break it?
Yeah, so that one is uncommon. So to add that at this point, go ahead and make it a 5,000, which you should still be able to easily pay for, I believe.
I don't have that much.
Really?
Yep.
5,000 what?
Ooh.
Gold.
Gold.
I have 2,588.
Dang.
Where'd your gold go?
1,000
Where'd
for
your
normal.
gold go? I can speak.
Well, she's a spellcaster, so she had to buy.
They
a lot
went
of
into
stuff
my
to-
spell components. I had to buy all those
Yeah.
rare and
I'm a spell. Wait.
Where do you think those came from?
I'm a spellcaster.
Okay, go ahead
have I
and
been
do
using
it for
for spell
2,000 then,
Okay.
instead of 5,000. It makes sense for your character to
I
have.
don't
this
even
item.
have that much.
I was gonna say this reminds me. I need to make sure I have enough. I have the right amount of money.
I have
I'm
6,000.
not sure I do.
And
Like I made
know.
sure
I
to
haven't
keep
updated it.
some
Yes.
in reserve for this purpose, but I spent a lot of it on my spell components.
Yeah,
Lily?
ups and downs of being a spellcaster. For Nihon.
Lily, give yourself back 1,000. I'll take the other 1,000.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
I have 6,000.
Yeah, I don't
and
think
out
I've been. I don't think I've been keeping track of it as well as I should have. So
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I took note of what he said was our starting, and I subtracted all my stuff from the starting, and that's where we are.
Oh,
Yep.
not a lot of my stuff uses components. That's why.
I only have 1,000 gold, so y'all are rich.
I don't
compared to
even
me.
have that. I don't even have that much. I think I forgot to
Sorcerers
update
have
it.
it rough. Sorcerers have
Yeah,
a lot of spells. that have
Bannock's
some stuff.
money is tied up in family matters, and it's not easily accessible outside of his components.
Mhm.
Literally, most of my stuff
much.
uses feathers.
Yeah.
That
As
need
a
the
bard, the
component.
majority of your stuff probably just uses your instrument.
Yeah, most of your stuff uses your instrument,
Okay.
and you will also side hustle by doing performances to get money, which is what my character did a lot last campaign.
I was panicking there for a second. I was like, did I just
So-
break the game on accident?
I guess I'm the one with the most money right now.
How much money you got?
I went through and grabbed the things for my bigger spells that I needed, but I didn't go through and buy like a shit ton. So I've got like 11k right now in gold.
Oh,
Well,
yeah,
like
you
all
did.
of my attuned items I had to pay for. I have 5 diamonds on my person worth 50 gold pieces that I had to pay for.
I've
My
got
rare chalks
5.
and inks are like 600 a piece.
Yeah,
I've got
dead
5
man.
for
Or 600
Revivify
for what I have.
and 2
They're
for
50 apiece.
Raised Dead.
Ah.
But yeah. Yeah, so I have 600 gold's worth of rare chalks and inks on my person.
And then I've got like my
that's where all my money
reliquary I
went.
bought. I have my crystal ball that I bought.
Mm-hmm.
Literally, most of my stuff either requires glass, feathers, and then the last thing I have is my summon draconic spirit, but that's a head thingy that I already discussed with Dragon that she has on her all the time.
Well, and you remember that spyglass that I lent you last episode?
Yeah.
That's 1,000 gold.
Ah!
Really?
Why'd you do that?
Need to fix some stuff here. I finally found the part that I was looking for.
The part?
The stones are 300, not 1,000.
Okay, I was gonna say
Oh.
that's a little high.
Yeah, as is the fan.
Okay.
Wait, so I'm confused.
It
So
was
give
300
yourself
instead
back
of-
the 1,000
yes.
you spent. I've only spent 300.
Yeah, that's much better.
And for the stone that you bought earlier, Banana, for
So 700 back?
Erilyn,
Give yourself
Yeah.
back 1,700.
Yeah.
So for the fan, the part that you paid, and then the
I
extra
went
you paid
back
on the
and
stone.
found the thing where I had put how much stuff cost.
Okay.
I'm sorry for pulling numbers out of my honey, but this seemed like a relevant time to actually go check since
I
it is-
appreciate you checking.
Yeah. As far as you go, Nihon,
Nobody
I'm
likes
afraid
Mac
I
anyways.
don't have it written down here in the list exactly what
Yes.
everyone's starting gold was, but I believe everyone started with the same
It was
Uh,
16
basic
something.
amount.
I had it. Hold on.
Oh, thank you. Because I forgot to update that. So
Pretty sure it's in our D&D chat.
Now, that's what I was looking for, but I
17K.
apparently didn't pin it. There you go.
17K.
Thank you.
That was your starting before any costly.
Yes,
Okay.
that was the
Components.
starting for in addition to whatever equipment you already have that's non-magical is what you said.
Yeah. All mundane equipment is effectively free for at this
Yes.
point.
Yeah, that's the 10th level starting gold value.
Yeah, and
So
the
if you're starting a
cost-
brand new party and you're level 10, they're assuming that's how much you've accumulated over the course of your adventure.
Yeah, and I will. Sorry for this chat. Give me just a moment. I'm getting
Where's the
this
technical?
for Nihon, so he
Where's the
can keep up
technical
with it.
difficulty screen? when
Yeah,
you
we
need
got
it?
we got derailed a little bit because money. It happens.
Thank you.
I
Nobody
just
likes to laugh.
reposted
It's just natural.
the bit there, Nihon,
Ah,
for how
okay.
much each of the
Gotcha.
minor major items in this and the like cost.
Thank you. Thank you.
So when you're
Appreciate that.
re-adding all the stuff that you bought extra, or if you forgot to add stuff to start with, that's how much it cost.
Okay, cool. Thank you. I will do the math.
Yeah, and don't worry about the top part of that. Worry about just the cost at the bottom. The top part was the group set of items that were then divvied out.
Yeah, gotcha. Cool. I haven't really been buying anything that's really been more than like uncommon, so I'm sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sure I'm good on that. Pretty much.
So back to Adeline playing as a Disney princess and speaking with birds. So the bird is outside your window, Adeline.
1 second. I was shoving food in my mouth.
Sorry.
Okay. So she's gonna open her window and hold out her hand for the bird.
Okay, you open your window willingly and invite the bird in to.
And it turns into a vampire.
Dun, dun, dun. Anyways, the bird reaches down and with its beak kind of pulls out this little slip of paper that's tucked into a little tiny tube at its foot, and then drops it in your palm and turns around and flies off.
Going to then close her window and then open the paper.
Okay, you open the paper. Inside is a coded message that you recognize, and you don't have to do anything special to decode. It's just, part of your nature and the nature of your work. It says that we know you were looking around for possible links and people. there was nobody in the high quarter that has gone missing.
To know.
So you finish reading it.
She finishes reading it, and then she hands the paper to Emerald to destroy it. Emerald's a puppy. She plays with everything.
Consider it wet, slobbery, and destroyed.
That might come to backfire on many of us later down the road. Teaching her to just destroy paper.
But have it only be paper that you hand her specifically.
True. She might be smart enough for that.
Well trained.
Kalea's smart like that IRL, so maybe.
Okay, so there you go. You have been given a note and have destroyed the note.
She knows that everybody pretty much split up within the tower, so she's just gonna wait for a moment when everybody's together to relay the message.
Okay.
So it is starting to get into nighttime now. Tummies are growling. Tarts weren't quite enough for dinner. Nice for a snacky and a welcome home present.
Well, it was like 2 or 3 at the time.
Yeah, it's been several hours now of us doing all this. So.
I'll make some food. Oh.
Why don't we all go sit in the dining room while Cole's making dinner? And Mestra, why don't you tell us about that dream?
Right. Well, if we're gonna go into all of that, do we want to spend the night at the tower? Because this might take a while to explain.
I think it sounds like a good idea.
Okay.
Sure.
I'm
We can
not
head out
opposed
first
to
thing in the
sleeping in
morning.
my
Might
own
as
bed
well.
for the night.
Pot roast done.
So are you going to eat?
I put it in when I was doing the tarts.
He
It's
thought
just been
ahead for
simmering.
once.
Look, it's been stewing in the juices, alright?
Exactly.
So are you?
Do we want to go eat in the meditation room then?
Yeah, we can do that.
Alrighty.
Meditation room? I'll
I'll
just take out running.
Right, the medication room. Got it.
The
Did you say,
pillow room.
did you
Kitchen
say
table.
medication?
Yes, I did.
Medication room.
Oh, it is healing for the soul.
Yeah, we
Oh
have
my
a dining
stars.
room. We'll use it
There's
eventually.
different kinds of healing for different kinds of people, alright?
We'll use the dining room eventually, but not now, apparently.
So y'all head
Mistral.
up.
Mistral. No, I'm saying wrong names, and that wasn't even close to my name.
Adam.
Adeline's gonna go in last, so when everyone's in the room, she's just gonna say, by the way, I've gathered some information that nobody's gone missing in the higher quarters.
That's very good to know. Thank you.
And she just nods her head while taking a bite. Sorry,
And
I
that was
also
the
taking
higher
a bite.
quarters in
No veil.
Novale specifically.
Well,
Dragon.
the letter didn't say,
Okay.
but it can be assumed
Okay.
because that's the only
that's
place
the only
where
place
y'all were
that
really
Adeline's been
investigating.
looking.
Yeah.
Yep. All right, good to know. So I will one of our blank books that Erilyn brought me. I'm kind of tracking the details of our investigation, so I'll add that in.
Okay.
I'm going to pull out my journal and just be looking at Mistral with my ink pen in hand, waiting for stories of
You're pulling an
Dream.
Elspeth.
Yep. Mimicry.
So
All
feel
right,
free to begin.
Yeah, so Mistral's gonna kind of trade a look with Bannock and be like, well, this particular dream, the one that you don't seem to remember, Bannock and I both recalled, and it happened the night that blue wave passed through. And so I'll go through and explain how we were in pursuit, like we were in combat, and then we were in pursuit of an Orthon that had a fairy in a cage. and that whole thing.
With the blue
you get to
hair.
the part about the fairy, and Cole, if you would please give me a Constitution saving throw
Constitution saving throw.
against magical effects, if it matters.
Oh.
No, I can have advantage on Dex. But... 25.
Okay. You're there, you're hearing this story, your head starts to hurt considerably in the back of your head, and it kind of moves to the front of your head. Then just out of your mouth pops, I have to get her. I have to save her.
I have to get it. I have to save it. Ah!
You said that in the dream,
the
too.
entirety of that dream.
Wait, so I remember it now?
Yep.
Yes.
I'll remember it.
Okay.
I'll remember the whole thing.
Right, so Mistral's going to keep explaining, and knowing that it worked for Cole, is going to focus on the rest of the group, and is kind of now going to use prestidigitation to add in visual.
Uh-huh.
I
As she
now
gets to
wish
parts.
I had actually wrote notes about this dream.
How can you write notes when you
I
didn't
think
remember?
I think it's in my travel compendium at the beginning. If not, it's in my actual notebook.
Adeline and Erilyn, the two A's, can you please give me a Constitution saving throw against magic, if you would, please?
No, it's illegal. Nah, I'm kidding.
So
What's your
normal?
Constitution?
A normal roll?
A saving throw.
What's
yes,
it
but
against?
a normal roll.
Yes.
Yeah, straight.
No advantage, no disadvantage, unless you specifically have something.
What type of
versus
magic
magic.
is it against?
It's against some sort of magic. Just do a
It's
Constitution
a magical
saving throw.
effect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're trying to see if we can
It's not an
bypass whatever
illusion, if
memory
that
block.
matters.
It's a con save against a magical effect.
Okay. Erilyn, Adeline, as the story goes on, your head starts hurting. You get
Wait,
this.
are we talking about the first dream or the second dream?
Yes, the first dream.
First, the
Oh,
one that
okay.
we don't remember.
You
because
remember the
only
second dream.
Bannock. Yes,
Yeah,
the one
only
that we don't
Bannock and
remember
Mistral
because only
passed the
Bannock
save
and
for the first
Mistral.
dream.
Okay.
Yep.
Maybe.
Yep.
So you
Which it
start
is in
getting
my
this-
it is in my compendium. It's there.
You start getting this headache. Erilyn, the headache passes, and you remember the dream. You remember Cole changing, but it wasn't quite Cole. At the end of it, the explosion
Into
at the
giant
end,
elk.
the blue crystals forming, hovering over the
Mhm.
bodies. As you're telling this story, Mistral, you start to see on Adeline's face there a little bit of pain and discomfort as Adeline starts to get a headache, and you see her nose start to bleed. And
Can I?
Adeline,
I'm going to
if-
rush over to her, and I'm going to spells.
I was gonna say,
Put
can
my
I try
hand
to
on her
assist
shoulder.
her by casting healing word on her?
I was going to cure wounds. I'm going to run over to Adeline and put my hand on her shoulder and cure wounds.
so you bleed just a little bit out of your nose there, Adeline, and just as you feel like the sudden sharp pain in the middle of your head, like right between your eyes, just as Erilyn lays down and touches you and cures wounds, the pain passes pretty quickly, but it was intense enough you feel like you would have nearly passed out. And you remember the dream.
Ah, thank you. Many apologies for worrying you.
Your nose feels a little stuffed up at the moment, but it's a pretty obvious reason why.
Please don't get blood on the pillows. It's hard to get out. And I'll just say that in like a teasing tone to her.
I'm just like
Mistral is gonna kind of look at you deadpan and use prestidigitation on a pillow.
What did you do? Put blood on a pillow?
Yeah, I'm just gonna add a stain on and off the pillow. Be like, and what?
Yeah, it's hard to get out, huh?
All right, so we all remember now then.
So everybody remembers the first dream that only two people originally remembered.
Mhm. which we had started to discuss. I don't know if anybody remembers that very first night. We had started to try to talk about it, and then Cole said he had a bad dream he couldn't remember, and Bannock changed the subject, which is why we didn't discuss it.
Mm-hmm.
I guess Bannock has had time to process it by now.
Yeah.
So,
At this point, yes.
Yes.
a quick recap of the major notes. They awoke mid-combat
Mhm.
against a demon type
Orthon.
creature that had a little fairy or a blue-haired sprite in a cage.
Bannock almost shot me from the sky.
Yeah, it is
They did.
3 pages of my notes in my travel compendium. I went into a lot of detail with that dream, so y'all can feel free to read that on your own time. It is all there.
They chased it down. There was some invisibility along the way
Because
that
of an
Erlen
invisibility ring.
was able to see through.
Mhm.
Eventually
I was-
cornered it in a cave
Cave.
down the way from where they started the chase, and it ended with it saying a few choice words. Sounded very
Right.
ritual-like, very familiar, very, very familiar. And
Yep.
there was a sickening crunch and squelching sound as it sounded like he was
He squished a fairy.
yeah,
Yep.
and there was
Blood
an
spilled,
explosion.
power instilled,
Instilled
one more life
to the ring fulfilled. Yes, that was what he
and to the
shouted.
next our gift of will.
Yes, that
I
was
went
after
back
he
in my
killed it.
notes.
Yep.
Yep.
Everybody found themselves hovering up in the air like in a dream, looking down on bodies that were no
That we
longer
could not
theirs.
recognize. Yeah.
Yep, they did not recognize, but it was obviously where you were mere moments before, and then everybody woke up.
We snapped into our littles after.
Possible. I know that like happened at the beginning of the campaign, and who knows how long in.
Yeah, it was our
D&D
first
time.
session. Yeah.
Yeah, but
That's
is it
why I
possible
wanted to give
for
a
me?
recap.
Is it
No,
possible
it wasn't.
to
It
do?
was session 3 and 4. It was session
Yeah.
3 and 4.
Well, it was our first session with the big ones.
Yep.
Yes.
Is
Yep.
it possible to do
But-
a check to see if I recognize the bodies now
You
from my
certainly can.
memory?
I mean,
Okay.
everybody remembers this dream now, and the pixie, as everybody remembered that dream as well, bears a striking
Blue hair.
resemblance. As
To the one
in-
that was in the cage. Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
The cage also looks
Not drama.
extremely
Not drama.
familiar.
Mistral's
What?
gonna kind of sigh
roll
and
do I do?
retrieve the cage from where she had it in the storage room.
Okay.
What roll do I
give
do?
That's the
me
cage.
The one that she remembered seeing before, and she found it
yeah.
when she was
Mhm.
looking for any proof that the dream was
She
real.
had a reaction to it when she
First,
said
Yeah.
Adeline, please give me an intelligence check or a
Straight
history
intelligence?
check.
Oh, okay. Where the Yeah, we'll do
Actually,
history.
17.
That was
Thinking
almost a one.
back and racking your brain for people you've met or seen drawings of and imagery, you can't place a memory of the people that were seen laying there at the end.
I'm wondering if it's our littles.
Now, Mistral
yep.
procures a cage that she had sitting up on a shelf in her bedroom
Yep.
that she happened to remember that she procured at some point.
Yeah, and
it
Bannock
looks,
remembered me buying it at a merchant's somewhere
yeah,
too. Yeah.
Yes.
and then you did.
Mm-hmm.
And the cage is there, looks exactly the same as what it did in the first dream. And looking at it very closely now, the cage that you all were in and the one that was set on the floor in the second dream.
Okay, this is eerie.
I'm increasingly uncomfortable with the situation.
I'll look to Bannock. You want a hug, Iris? It really helps.
I don't know, but thank you.
Welcome. She's
The
a good
bun that
cuddler.
saves them all.
I think I'll just leave all this deep thinking stuff to you lot. I'm not very good at it.
I'm just gonna
We
look at
figured-
Cole and shake
Just
my head.
pats Cole on the back, says, "No, but you're good at lots of things, so
Oh,
don't
I
I
get
don't
am.
know.
too
This
hard on
kind of
yourself."
has that like
Like
squinted
kidnapping
eyes,
people.
annoyed look while looking at him, and like looking at Cole, and it's like, we learned that when you kidnap somebody.
That was a good time.
Oh dear.
That was a good day. I remember it well, like it was yesterday.
And Mistral.
It was
Mhm.
yesterday.
No, it was today. Get it right.
Just leans forward and is just like,
Oh yeah.
don't engage him on this.
Yes, Fardo.
Mistral. Now that the realization has dawned upon you, seeing this cage and seeing that it looks exactly like what y'all were in when you had the dream about being a pixie, upon closer inspection of the cage, at the top of the cage, you can see what appears to be some type of mechanism that has some type of button that can be pressed.
Okay, I'm gonna press the button.
Lamau. Wait, is there
You press
is
the
there
button.
blood from a pulled wing on it?
Hole explodes.
And
Well,
the
that wasn't
spot
my cage.
and the spot at the top where the top of the cage kind of connects into opens up as if the door isn't the intended way to put something in or take it out the normal way.
Aha. Okay.
As you were specifically looking before about possible ways to defeat said cage, this is something that stood out to you.
Yep. So now I know if we're stuck in the cage in the future, make something hit the top. Cole was so close to having the solution.
Wait, I drew a
was.
diagram of the cage. Add that to the diagram.
Yep.
Nope.
Button on the top. Find a way to activate the button on the top if we need to get out.
Little depressible button at the top. Yep.
Yep.
Opens it up, pops the top off of it almost like a cork. The
Mm-hmm.
little spots where the cage connects in just kind of slide out. It's hard to tell what more about the cage as you kind of got it, broken with the door open,
Yep.
but you at least did notice that.
Okay. We've learned something. So if second dream comes true, we know how to get out now. So that's some of
Yes.
Mistral's anxiety just kind of gone. Because okay, she found a solution to the problem.
Dun, dun, dun.
Who's this
Indeed.
Alright.
blue-haired sprite, though?
I don't know. I think that will bear more investigating.
Well,
And there's still one page of the journal that I haven't been able to decipher yet. We'll have to do that tomorrow. Can't do
Well,
it today.
why don't we get
From what
some
I was
sleep?
reading, it looks like there's more that you might have to look into.
Maybe.
Well,
Why don't
didn't
we
the
get
last page
But as
say
a
that
start-
the ritual's in there?
Well, the last page mentioned the ritual in detail. That's the part I didn't decipher. So
Oh, okay. I didn't know if that
that's
was
the
extra
section I
pages.
stopped before.
Okay.
Well, why don't we get some sleep and pick this up in the morning? We can decipher the last page and then head straight to.
Do we still want to go straight to
Town.
Sutton in the morning?
Yeah,
Or do we
straight
want to go into
Sutton.
Farrington and then teleport from Farrington?
Well, I'd like
I
to
think
go to
Farrington.
Sutton because I need like a shield, a ring of protection, or something.
You should have started with that?
I do not know.
Those are things that would theoretically exist in the stores already. Those items in particular, according to the magic
Oh,
item cost.
I'm
'Cause
thinking like a
I-
magical shield.
Well, the ring of protection is something that we probably would have.
I already have a cloak of protection. That's something that you should have already started with.
That is not one of the starting items I chose. But it
He
should
didn't
be...
choose to buy one with his starting funds.
Right.
when he made his character.
I forget who I left
Okay.
Mistral. Why do I keep doing it now? I forget who I left Adeline's shopping to, but I just bought whatever they told me to buy.
I would like something to buff my AC. Because it's sitting
Okay.
at 15. And I'm the tank.
Is your
Okay.
AC the same as mine?
Well, to be fair, you're a druid. Your typical way of improving your AC is not being you.
Yeah, by shaping.
quite
Mhm.
honestly.
Right. But still would like
But yes.
a slight buff to my AC when I'm not in
Okay.
animal form.
Fair.
Well, and we don't know off the top of our heads what kind of goods can be found in other towns.
Right.
So we don't
But
know.
like you
Fairhampton might have a
said-
smith. We don't know.
Considering
You know?
it's supposed to also be a dwarven village, isn't it?
I mean, it's definitely near caves. So
I thought
Definitely.
that. Anyways, you did mention though not wanting to go to Sutton and then having to bounce back to then go to Farrington since you don't have a circle there. Wouldn't it
correct.
make more
I'd
sense
like
to
to go to Fairhampton,
first?
obtain said circle, and then move on.
I think Farrington
Ideally.
would be better off
is well
first.
known for mining and is the general home where a lot of dwarves are. So it's a pretty safe assumption there's probably at least one smith there.
Yeah, whether or not it's going to be magical shield is another question, but you'll at least be able to get a shield,
Okay.
a weapon. You should probably get something a pretty sturdy make there because with the mountain range there, they're going to have caves, they're going to have mining operations, they're going to have access to ore.
Yep.
Would there
I think
be
bracers
of
a
defense is the other
breastplate
thing I
or
wanted.
something for us in our storage for him to take for now to slightly boost his AC?
I don't think you can use like heavy stuff though.
Isn't that flavor for?
No. As a barbarian, I can't. It'll
He has
actually
unarmed
decrease my
defense,
AC.
right?
Yeah.
And
Would we
barbarians,
have a
it's not
shield
just
in
flavor text.
storage?
You can have a basic mundane shield.
Yeah, like a normal one we could have in storage.
Okay.
Yeah, just
That'll
I
for
feel
do
like
something.
Banana's right though. Let's go to Farrington first, so we can put a portal there. Then we can go to the other place.
And that'll buff it by 2, so that should help a little.
Yeah, because we can always head to Sutton directly from Fairhampton.
Yeah, the nice thing
If
about
we don't
having
wanna
magic circle,
investigate
as
first.
long as you've got a space to draw it.
There we go.
Yep.
I mean, I feel like it'll save time though. if we
Because
go
we're not
I mean-
bouncing
Oh,
there
dang it.
and then coming back
That's
to the
why.
tower and then going back to Farrington.
Yeah.
Right. It's kind
So-
of the logic of collect all the fast travel points.
Yeah.
I remember now why I didn't have why I don't use a shield. It's because my weapon's two-handed.
That would make sense.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
That makes
Maybe
sense.
we can find you a good one-handed weapon.
That's why I was
Is
hoping
it?
for like
Correct
bracers of
me if I'm
defense.
wrong.
Because I can
But
wear
isn't there-
bracers or a ring.
Yeah, there are bracers that you would typically use.
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong, because 5e is still new to me. But isn't there a feat that basically gives you a bonus when you use a two-handed weapon?
There may be.
I believe
Probably
so.
Weapon Master or something.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely something to look at.
Potentially. But yeah, I think Farrington first.
Yeah, the bracers
How
of
long
defense
do you think it would take us
give
to
me a
get there,
+2,
Firebutt?
just like a shield. As long as I'm not wearing armor or using a shield. So
It depends on how you travel there. If the majority of your travel is by water, then Mistral can help make it quicker.
Mm-hmm.
But that's dependent upon that, and then you would end up
You can't
kind of
travel to
skirting
Farrington.
part way around the island, and then it would end up probably taking even longer. Then you'd have to travel even further over ground. I'm looking at the map.
Right.
So let's see.
As far as
My guess
normal
would be
travel,
horse and
Day.
carriage.
we do have a
3 days.
carriage. We do have a carriage. We do have horses.
About 3 days ish.
About 3 days.
If there's wind involved or water involved, I can speed that up.
Yep.
All right. Well,
But it's inland, so does that really even help us?
So we won't be doing that. So we'd just be doing horse-drawn carriage, basically.
Yep. So about 3 days ish.
well then
It gives you time to decode more of that book.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So it gives Adlin's people some more time to gather information.
Yeah, you could probably put out feelers for the city before we even get there,
Mm-hmm.
and then have information when we get into town.
Definitely.
I think that's probably what she's gonna do tonight. She doesn't go to sleep when everyone else does, anyways, because she
Yeah.
makes sure that nobody's gonna send her a message before she goes to sleep. She got
Do you think
weird-ass
there's a way
art
that we
colors.
could find some sort of a courier to bring the sending stone to Elsbeth, or
Yeah,
should
we could
we get that to her?
probably see where courier is located to try to send something back with one.
I guess our
So
best
it-
place to check that out would
or
be
you can
Stormville
go
on our way
to-
through.
Mm-hmm.
Or you can go to what would be considered a post office in each of the towns that the couriers visit and leave it there, and
And they'll pick it up
send
when they come
that
through.
way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
As it's hard to tell exactly where they are unless you're there in her office and you can see the little ants running around on the
Unless
island.
she's writing in her updates, "Hey, I'm dispatching a courier to this town." Yeah.
Yep.
Or I can sending her.
Yep. But I don't think that's a big deal.
So it sounds
Alright.
like the party is deciding on a plan to do for tomorrow.
So
Yep.
we should check the notes and then go
Yeah,
to bed
I'm checking
and
for
head out in the
Elsbeth's
morning.
update.
Okay, you prepare, you call out the name of the update, and on the sheet in front of you, you see, the name of the date is, what it's titled for. And then just beneath it, you see, I wanted to let you know, Air Kurt, and then it just stops.
Oh,
Yeah, this could have been a page that we could have used. Oh well.
Still kind of funny.
Yep.
It was still worth making sure.
So we're checking in case she updated it later.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
But yep,
Yes,
now we know.
something happened that interrupted her writing it. I've got no clue what.
Can't
A
imagine.
knock on the door.
And sleep.
Yep, so everybody settles up for the night. It's dark, it's late. You don't receive any more messages that you can think of, Adeline. No special birds
Okay.
tweeting at your
So since
window.
she doesn't get a special message, she's gonna send out a message.
Okay, what you gonna do?
She is going to tie. She's gonna write the letter for them, asking someone to go out there and get feelers for the area.
Okay, which area? Just so I know.
I don't remember the
I'm
name. The one that's
assuming
not
Is
Farrington.
Is it Farrington, the one we're going to?
Yeah, Farrington.
Okay.
And then she also wants to know, what's the name of the other place again?
Sutton?
Yeah, she
Sutton.
also wants someone to give her information about Sutton.
Alrighty. So you do a little humming and whistling, and a bird shows up at your window, and you stick a note in the little pouch and send the bird off. The bird goes off. It's been a good note, well written. Everybody settles up for sleep, and the night passes without incident. Go ahead and do a
Long rest.
rest.
My staff regains its charges, and I regain the 1 HP that I
Short rest.
lost.
And we will go ahead and call it there
Uh,
if everybody's okay with that.
Yep, that's
Yeah, let's do
fine.
that.
Good place to
Okay.
stop.
That way
Tobacco
everybody's
here?
fresh and
Yes.
ready. You can decide on what spells to have prepped for the next few days. And anybody who might be able to come up with other stuff that they decide that they need before fully setting off, then you can discuss that and get that taken care of.
All right, sounds good.
Okay, both
So
of my
fair-
wands
fair enough.
are.
So thanks everybody again for this 33rd session of In the Demon's Grasp, where our party talked to a woman, went home, read a book, and slept. Oh, and had story time before bed. We can't forget that.
Yep.
So
Yep.
have
Definitely
a good...
won't have any nightmares as a result of that story time. It's fine.
So have a good day, night, evening, afternoon, morning, whatever time zone and time it is for you all. And hopefully we'll see you all next time for In the Demon's Grasp.
Yes.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
And for those of you on my end, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for listening, and see you all next time. Bye-bye.
And my stream is out.
Bye-bye.
Mine's out.
Delicious.